Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Mattikus, and I'm giving you a post-matchup interview with Giyu PC. Hey, Giyu, how's it going?
It is going good, Mattikus. I'm doing good. What about you, man?
Oh man, I've been doing great, enjoying the Memorial Day weekend, the extra,
Yeah,
extra, extra weekend days, just hanging out with family and just resting up for sure.
for
Definitely from
sure.
that
For sure.
long week 16 of Full Bar Friday took a lot out on me, but it was a really fun event.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, and I always enjoy it. It's like it elevates the fun, when there's more commentators like, or just people involved like Dr. Justice, Cujo Kate, Rhythm and Flow, it is Thirst God, I gotta throw him in there, or Mr. Jackson. It always elevates it and makes it so much more entertaining when more of the community comes together. So it's always a good time.
Oh yeah, agreed. Like I could not do it without the volunteers involved with Full Bar, and it's been really fun just being able to do events and just hanging out with everybody. Just from the viewers, from the players, and even the commentators or whoever wants to come in and help. You being the six-time champion, I want to ask a few questions about the past week. And can you give the viewers a little background on where you're from and the fighting game scene you're involved in?
Absolutely. So I am originally from Lawton, Oklahoma. The scene I got involved in when I was going to school is the Dallas Fort Worth scene in Texas. So that is where all my roots, all of my, hundreds and thousands of defeats at the hands of the community itself came from. And I was kind of, you know, uh, I guess you could say I was kind of born into the FGC. As you know, Medicus, like there's just tons of talent, um, not only in Dallas, but in the whole Texas scene. So literally, yep. So yeah, but that's where it for sure started off, and I honestly wouldn't have wanted it any other way. Really glad I got involved in the scene, and that was my origin. Yeah.
So you started playing fighting games around that time, or were you involved in fighting games from the beginning? Like, what made you play fighting games?
Yeah, so interestingly enough, I've always been kind of a, kind of a fanboy of fighting in general, and it probably like most of us, it started off, uh, back in the day with the Power Rangers, Bruce Lee
Oh
films,
yeah, yeah.
John Claw. I mean, just anything martial arts related. I was a sucker for it. So it started there, and my first fighting game, probably like many of us, was Street Fighter 2 back on on the Sega Genesis. So I fell in love with Street Fighter, that Mortal Kombat, back in the day. So it just carried. It just carried
Oh,
with me throughout the years.
so you were a
Yeah,
Sega guy,
I was indeed a Sega guy.
Sega
I
guy
was a
through and
Sega.
through.
Yeah,
I was the Nintendo guy. Like I ran into Street Fighter 2 through the Super Nintendo and Mortal
yeah,
Kombat's, and I'm on the same boat but just on different
yeah.
systems.
That's it. That's it. That's okay. That's what it is. Yeah, that's so it that definitely that was the origination for me, and it just and then as I got older, I learned how competitive that I was, and I like to be, and I love competing
Hmm.
in general. So it kind of stuck with me. So that's why when I had met uh, Dr. African going to the Art Institute, I met him when I went to college, and he played with that annoying Dan. God, that Dan was annoying. Um, he played with that, and it was a back and forth tug of war. I've never experienced, because my, in Oklahoma, there is a scene here, but it's not
Yes.
it's not as big as other places. So, there, and back in those days before I went to college
Hmm.
and before I moved to Dallas, like I didn't really go out with into the scene and go to tournaments or anything. That really was real. That was honestly foreign to me. So
Hmm.
I just stayed within my little small community of friends, and we all love fighting games. Probably about 6 or 7 of us, or 7 or 8 of us, and we just go over each other's houses and play, and and just the same old, same old. Again, Dr. African, he had introduced me to a whole new world. The only one, the world that I was, kind of familiar with as YouTube was coming in, and then we seen the Daigo versus Justin Wong and Third Strike video surface, and that was the thing. So that introduced me to that world, and in the reality within the Dallas scene. So yeah, that's man, that was where it all started.
Yeah, I think that's where most of the 09ers dreams has started, was seeing the Evo moment number 37, like just seeing the comeback from Daigo, and just the magic of the moments you can make in a fighting game. So this is a cool question. I was wondering, what is your favorite fighting game series, and who is your favorite fighting game character of all time?
Ooh, that is a really tough one.
It may be a little broad, but I was curious.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great question. For the longest time, it has been Street Fighter.
Okay.
And it has been Guy.
Guy from Final Fight?
Yes, it has been Guy. Yeah. Ever since I had played the Street Fighter Alpha series back, I want to say this was probably about 98, around 98, and I played Street Fighter Alpha. My uncle rented it for me.
Okay.
And I was so excited because it was another Street Fighter title that I never played. And when I picked him by accident. I'll never forget the day. I picked him by accident, and I said, "Who is this? He kind of feels like a Shoto, but he's not a Shoto. Who is this guy?" And and lo and behold, he is, like, ever since that day, he's been like my main character because it was just different.
And in regards to Street Fighter V, what makes you gravitate towards Jory as your main?
Now that's an easy one. Now with Jury, because I don't know if you remember, Matt. I did play Chun in season 1.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah, I played Chun in season 1, but and everybody was kind of looking, right before season 2 came out. Like everybody was kind of filling out the roster around that time, so it was pretty normal. But when I first, now at the tail end of Ultra Street Fighter 4, I was actually messing with Jury, and just offline, and just trying to, because I had promised myself when I had like right before I graduated, I wanted to actually play Jury because she looked so fun, and she was different. So I carried that same enthusiasm over to Street Fighter V once season 2 came out, and I've been a Jury main ever. I'd never thought about even going anywhere else. It's just been Jury, and that's because not only because of her toolkit, but the main thing is that she's so fun to play, and it's challenging in a lot of situations to try to remember the advantages of all of the tools that she has, and in each matchup, and seeing how you can kind of utilize them a little bit differently, going from match to match. So it's like a constant. It's like it's a constant challenge to try to put different pieces together of the same puzzle. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So it's like, so it gives me this challenge, and I've been addicted to it ever since.
I could definitely tell you that your work has paid off with this character. Like it's been amazing seeing results from how you play with her in Full Bar Friday. And we've been we've been playing since the beginning in Street Fighter V and the tail end of Street Fighter 4, and
Right.
I was wondering how long did it take to get where you were today?
Ooh. Mm. That is another brilliant question. Because I actually get asked this question
I
sometimes.
remember we had a bunch of battles, like
We did have a bunch of battles.
from local tournaments to online. Man, we
Yeah, we did have quite a bit of wars
yes.
in our days of the Street Fighter series. But yeah, so it actually took me a while because I tell a lot of new Jury players this, that Jury was so different. And granted, I wasn't my fundamentals of the game weren't as good when I started off playing with her, so there's that too. But it was really difficult to try to familiarize and get accustomed to the way that Jury, to try to use Jury the best that she could be. It was really hard to get into that mind frame. And I'll tell you this, when I believe I was almost an ultra diamond when I started playing with Jury, and I just used the same account, and I went all the way back down to platinum.
Oh,
and
wow.
almost ultra gold. Yeah. And then so it was a real struggle to try, because I would try to rank and I couldn't do it. And so I remember it took me just to try to get, used to using her, being fundamentally sound with her and get to a decent place. It took me probably, I remember it took me like 5 months to get to diamond with Jury.
Oh yeah.
It took me a while. Yeah.
Because I remember seeing your name on just going through CFN. Like, man, you've been on the grind for sure. Like I looked up your account not too long ago. Like, you put in hours and hours, more than me. I need to get back into my training myself, but like tons of games played and tons of hours being spent. Just getting to where you're at today is awesome.
Definitely. Once I got a better understanding and that of the game, and that's when this was probably at the end of 2019. It was like right around December. I believe, was it December? And I think it was like October. I start really understanding how the game works, and with the setups and and putting it. I finally put it all together because I spent time, and I think we were like the pandemic was that was right before the pandemic started. So I was spending some time on it. I said, let me actually spend some time on it. So and it took me, I want to say it took me about 4 weeks to go from, and I was a diamond still. It took me 4 weeks to go from diamond or 5 weeks to go from diamond to grandmaster. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So you might have already answered this question, but are you a lab monster or do you play by feeling?
I am actually both. Yeah, I do both, especially when if it's something that I don't understand, I do both, because and here's the thing, the unique thing that again that goes back to me being so interested in maining Jury is that being able to, I have to be able to adapt. So when I play her, it's a feeling, when I'm playing certain matches. And granted, there's always the game plan, but I have to adapt with feeling, and that's what separates, honestly, not only a lot of players in general, but definitely the Jury players. That's what separates them, completely. And it starts from the lab. So there's a lot of things that I'll lab, like with punishing particular characters or replaying particular scenarios, seeing how I can maximize. I gotta maximize on everything, or else I feel like I failed, even though I can win. Like, I feel like I failed because that's what I lab.
Yeah.
So
This is a good question I've been wanting to ask. So week 16, it looked like you had a tougher winner side bracket. You had Noisy Child, Broly Legs, and Houston.
Oh my God!
Can you tell me what happened and what your and what game plan you had for those players?
Okay, so man, all right. So this was, I mean, everyone knows about how I felt about Noisy Child. Everyone, first of all, everybody knows how I felt about that because I felt like he either has a Smurf account and he's like really good with somebody else because you know, you know, unless it's a player that's been working on it because I'll say now, Matt, you have a pretty guy like Balrog yourself.
Oh, you're too much, man.
No, well, I mean, hey, because well, you did defeat Broly, you know, and that was that was something quite amazing. So, now Noisy Child, and he had this patience about him that you really don't find like in real diamond players, like especially if they're new and they haven't been playing the game. Like they're usually never patient like that, and the way that he was waiting things out and finding the right time to capitalize and knowing what to look for was really scary and that's what made me think that it was a lurking Dr. African. That's what makes me think that because it's not a normal thing, or I could be like, oh well, Mattikus, do you got a different account or something's wrong here, because I wasn't expecting that at all. So I had to adapt several times while he was adapting. So that he's going to definitely be a problem in future tourneys. But so there was that, and then of course the one of the guys, Broly Legs, like it's always tough playing against him because like he can adapt in certain situations, and if he does, it could get pretty scary. Because then he'll kind of use that to bully you, and if you don't adjust or adapt soon, you can look up and the match will be over. So so I scathed by with that one, and then of course my winner's final rival, Ustino DJ, like he's absurd, like and I don't know how often he plays the game, but if he played it anymore, like I probably wouldn't be beating him at all. Yeah, for sure.
It seems like he has problems hiding the lariat, like try to make the lariat safe. Like from what I feel like he can get close to being like Yipes and lab that character out and be really good with Gil.
I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that, and that's what made me think. I was like, well, you know what? He might not play a whole lot, but when he does, or if he does, I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be a part of that. There's already too much to worry about. I'm glad Dark Sasuke didn't join because he put me out week 15, I believe.
Week 15, yeah.
It was Dark Sasuke and it was T Boykins that put me out, and no one wants to deal with that all the time.
I tell you what, it's a snake pit bracket, man. Like especially when you get the losers, like everyone starts playing really solid,
really hard. And that's just scary. That's really scary. But yeah, no, this week 16 was definitely a tough one.
Oh yeah,
and yeah, that I had barely made it out.
So you won Full Bar Friday 6 times, and that's amazing. And I was wondering, what do you do with all those salty bucks, man? What do you do with those?
Well, honestly, I just compile them. I'll just compile them. If I do need, like, sadly, I did have to spend about 47 of those on getting a new controller, and which I still haven't gotten. It should get here hopefully sometime this week. But I try to compile them. I try to make sure I compile them.
Yeah.
just save them. I really don't spend them.
You got to invest in the Dogecoin, man.
You got and there's some things that you're absolutely right, man. I do need to invest in some crypto.
Get some more salty bucks from that.
Get more salty bucks, and that and I can't go wrong. So it's been this tournament, that full bar Friday has been really fun for me, and with everybody coming into it from the scene in the South, has really helped me put a gauge on my abilities as a player, to try to help elevate how I think, and in different situations, and have a lot of times have motivated me to continue to play as high level as I possibly can. So
I definitely enjoy you joining those brackets. As of right now, it's not going to stop anytime soon.
Awesome, and I think if that's the case, it's only going to get more people are only going to get involved in it, and it's going to become bigger, naturally. So I definitely keep it up, Mattikus.
I appreciate it, man. So you faced a lot of tournament opponents in this tournament series, Full Bar Friday, and who do you feel could stop you and match your tournament wins in Full Bar Friday?
Marvin, or AKA Luka Doncic. He's ridiculous. He's absolutely ridiculous. He's very cheap. I've been glad, even though I've beaten him a couple of times, but if on any given day he can just slaughter me. I think I know if Doctor prepares for me, I don't want to have anything to do with him. If Toy gets back on track, he's scary. He's very scary. And if Integra actually plays the game with malicious intent, we're all doomed.
All right, this is the most important question.
Shoot for it.
Do you think that JB will ever cheer for the Thirst God?
I don't know. Being still kind of a little bit salty at the Thirst right now, so he might come around maybe at some point, but not anytime soon, man. Not anytime soon.
Man. And Giyu PC, thank you for sharing your time and being able to answer these questions, and congratulations on everything so far. Well, I hope you see you next week in Full Bar Friday, week 17.
Thank you so much for having me, Mattikus. It's been a pleasure as always, and I will be there. You can count on it. Signing off, Giyu PC.
All right, everyone, that is it for the interview. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like it, hit the thumbs up button, and click around on some of these videos, and we'll see you next time.